On today's video, we're going to plow some UP snow. We're going to talk about a few different methods of snow removal, and we're also going to talk about a different type of venue for some of our core viewer content. Hey there, outdoor YouTubers. Well, today we're out plowing a little bit of UP snow. Now, we didn't really get like a snowstorm or anything like that. I'm just out doing a little bit of cleanup work. Pushing a few banks back, widening up some spots, and getting to a few spots that I haven't got to in a while. And one of the reasons that some of these spots are getting neglected, or some of these things are getting neglected as far as plowing goes, is because my Suburban plow truck was broke down for a while. It was during one of the earlier snowstorms that we had this winter. I was just about done plowing and I was pushing this bank back, and I went to go into reverse to back up, and I didn't have any reverse. Okay, and I'll tell you what, that is not a good feeling to lose reverse on your plow truck up here in Michigan's Upper Peninsula. Anyways, so that was kind of a sad thing. In the meantime, you know, until I could get it into a repair shop, I was still able to keep the length of the driveway open. Okay, both ends of my driveway, kind of the end up by the house and the end down by the road, there's actually enough space where I could angle the snowplow. I could go forward, right? I still had forward gears. I could go forward, and when I got to these ends, I could kind of circle around and come back up the driveway again, okay? I could do that without using reverse. Now, that's not really ideal, right? You really can't push into any kind of a situation, a bank, or into a nook or a cranny, push snow into anywhere that you have to use reverse to get out of. And then even the ends of my driveway where I was able to circle around, I was kind of building up kind of a cul-de-sac there. Like the center of that circle, I really couldn't move that anywhere because I couldn't push it and back up. So that was just kind of a temporary situation. But I was able to, like I say, keep the length of the driveway open for a little while until I got into a repair shop. Until the Suburban was back from the repair shop, I needed to come up with plan B for keeping the driveway open. And plan B was not to have my wife use the walk-behind snowblower. Even though she is pretty ambitious with that thing. We were in a pinch once before where the plow truck wouldn't start, and she did do the whole driveway with the walk behind, which is just kind of insane, but she's like that sometimes. But anyways, no, plan B was to break out my old 1998 Arctic Cat four-wheeler, which I did have a little dinky, teeny 4-foot plow for. Many years ago, we lived at a different place, and we just had a small driveway. That's what I used to keep the driveway open. So, I put the plow on that, put the chains on the back tires, and that's what we were trying to take care of the snow with. That's what we were using to keep our driveway open, which, for the amount of snow we get here in Michigan's Upper Peninsula and the size of my driveway, that little four-wheeler was seriously undersized for a job like that. Yeah, even with the chains on the back, that little four-wheeler gets stuck pretty easy. That little 4-foot plow just doesn't move a whole lot of snow. Certainly not nearly as much as a full-size plow truck. Another thing about that little four-wheeler plow is it has the manual lever for raising and lowering the plow. Okay, it doesn't have like a winch that brings it up and down. So after you plow with that thing for about 30 minutes, your left arm is ready to fall off from raising and lowering that plow up and down. Okay, so that's not ideal. Fortunately for me, we only really got one big snowstorm when I didn't have the Suburban plow truck. I was also very fortunate in that the guy that owns the garage where I was having the Suburban repaired at, he came over and plowed me out for that storm. So I was very grateful for that. Gosh, I think the guy was here for an hour and a half plowing. That would have been terrible to do with that little four-wheeler, let me tell you. Honestly, if I would have had to plow with that little four-wheeler, I think it would have taken me like 3 days and probably 2 bottles of Advil to do it. So, I mentioned a new venue for some of our core viewer content. All right, what does that mean? So what I did is I started a Patreon page. Nothing is going to change with the YouTube channel. The YouTube channel is still going to have all the hunting, the fishing, the deer processing, the deer camp life, all those fun outdoor activities that take place up here in Michigan's Upper Peninsula. That's all going to stay the same. Okay, well, if all that stuff is on the YouTube channel, what's going to go on this Patreon page? Well, a lot of the same stuff, but in a slightly different format. YouTube generally rewards videos that are, say, 8 to 14 minutes long. They like them to be around that size. People like watching videos that size, and you can put a lot of ads in them. Of course, more ads creates more revenue. YouTube likes to push those kind of videos quite a bit more than they would push, say, a 4-minute long video. Okay, here's an example. Let's say me and my wife hop in the side-by-side, grab a few fishing poles, and we stop off at a few places and do a little trout fishing. But we really don't kill it. Maybe we just catch 1 or 2 little trout, you know? No big deal, whatever. Well, if I try to make a 10-minute video about that fishing trip, that maybe doesn't really appeal to kind of that global YouTube audience. But if I go ahead and I make a 4-minute video about that fishing trip, you know, there's a little bit of scenery. We maybe caught a couple small trout. So that might make a decent 4-minute video for like what would be our core viewing audience. Not every fishing trip is 12 minutes of good content, okay? Not every time you go out sitting deer hunting do you get 10 minutes of good content. But I might go out with the crossbow, I might sit one evening, I might see a few does, I might see some really cool fall colors, maybe I see a partridge, and you know what? That might make a pretty good 5-minute video for my core viewing audience. even though a video like that might not fit that typical normal YouTube video mold. So videos like that might be a little bit better suited to be on the Patreon page. For those of you that have been following the channel, you know that we do have some pretty good deer processing instructional videos. All right, and we're gonna keep doing that on YouTube. Okay, nothing's gonna change there. But in the past, sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes, I've ran into a little trouble where YouTube does not like to monetize videos that contain deer gutting, sometimes deer skinning, and sometimes certain gun content YouTube kind of frowns upon, and they won't let you monetize some of those videos. Okay, so the Patreon page, that might be a place for some of that, some of the stuff that YouTube kind of frowns upon. Again, the Patreon page is going to be kind of aimed at our core viewers. All right, I might do a video where I just hop on the snowmobile and go for a ride. Okay, now I'm not going to be going 100 miles an hour. I'm not going to be shredding up snow on a mountainside somewhere, but I might be cruising through some fresh UP snow. There might be some interesting scenery that goes along with that. Okay, and something like that might make a pretty cool 5-minute video for our core viewership. One video that I do have up on the Patreon page right now is a video that kind of details the struggles I had taking care of the driveway with that little four-wheeler. Okay, again, that might be something that maybe only my core viewership is kind of interested in. I don't know. One video that I'm working on right now, and I think it's probably going to be titled something like it was a high of 10 degrees Fahrenheit all this weekend, so all we did is keep the sauna lit all weekend long. And getting back to the deer processing a little bit, like I said, I've got a lot of good instructional videos at my YouTube channel, but sometimes me and my dad just cut up a deer together. We don't really videotape anything really instructional about it. We're just in the garage cutting up a deer, talking about whatever. And you know what? Some of our core viewership might find that interesting. Another cool thing that we'll be doing at the Patreon page, we've actually started it already, is posting pictures. Okay? Fish pictures, deer pictures. I gotta dig some of this stuff up, but I think I'm gonna give some of you guys a real good laugh, and I'm gonna post some pictures from when I was much younger and much skinnier, with some different fish and deer that I've gotten over the years. And you'll even see, like I say, once I kind of round them up and get them there, you'll even see that I used to have a lot more hair back in the day too. Okay, so I think some of you guys that kind of follow the channel probably get a pretty good kick out of that. So that's kind of a fun thing that we'll be doing at the Patreon page too. Okay, well, that is some of the stuff that we got going on at the Patreon page. That's some of the stuff that we're going to be having going on at the Patreon page. So if you're at all interested in that, right? I mean, it's going to be very similar to the YouTube channel. It's going to be outdoors. It's going to be Michigan's Upper Peninsula. It's just going to have that slightly different format to it, you know, most of the stuff. That maybe that length, maybe some of the content that, you know, YouTube kind of frowns upon, that's going to be at the Patreon page. If you think you might be interested in some of that type of content, I'll leave a link down in the description of this video. It'll bring you to our Patreon page, and of course I'll have a link back at the YouTube channel. It'll bring you there too. So, like I said, if you think you might be interested in any of that, go ahead, give it a look, see what you think. And also, remember to hunt, fish, laugh, repeat. And hey, thanks for watching, and God bless.